What training plan is best for you? I'm Zach Tacey, and today we're going to be talking about different training plans as well as how AI might play a role in the fitness industry. Everyone has different goals, schedules, training ideals, and there's really not one catch all, fit all for training. So, we're going to go through a few different things talking about generic plans, custom plans, one on one coaching, and even AI training plans. And we're going to figure out the pros and cons of each one so that you know what's going to work best for you. And with all that, let's get started.
So we're going to start with the most basic type of training plan, which is just a generic plan. It has workouts in there, and you can pretty much do them as you want to the best of your ability. So this is my page here. There is a little link for a one-on-one if you are interested in doing personal training, but I also have some examples of sort of generic running blocks that I've created. We have one that is for beginners, and then we have one that's a little bit more intermediate and is built to be reusable. So if you want to change it from month to month, it has some flexibility there. So we're going to jump into this beginner run block and just kind of talk through it as well as the pros and cons of a generic run block. So first pro is that they are generally pretty cheap. You can find them anywhere, anywhere from being free up to, $15 as mine is. Or a little bit more than that, and it depends on the plan that you're going for as well. But generally, generic plans, they're free, cheap, very affordable. Now, the downside of that is they're not customized to you. Like, if you know what you're doing, if you just want some guidance, this is a way to get started. Now, I personally will always recommend working with a coach and getting a custom training plan. But if you need something that's cheap, affordable, this is an okay way to go. I have mine through Training Peaks, and you can search them up, or you can get them in the link below, my link tree, anywhere like that. And this is just a 1 week example. So to start, day one, 15 minutes. You can make it your own. If you go down to the details here, it says it's an easy run. See how you're feeling. Again, this is just like to start out. Running, walking, totally okay. This is a recommendation. If you need to walk at all, do it in intervals, either, run for 4 minutes, walk for 1 minute. You can flip that around if you need to. Do what you got to do. And then Tuesday, light activity or cross training. This is very optional, but it is recommended. And it's kind of left there as a placeholder for you to schedule it into your schedule, but not to, it doesn't give you details of what exactly that you need to do. I do have some recommendations: light activity, walking, yoga, mobility. And then cross training would be weights, swim, bike, dance, whatever you want to do that feels good. And then Wednesday, easy aerobic. Again, if you drop down to the details, talks about some kind of recommendations in here. Thursday, rest or light activity. Friday is an easy day with strides. And so I try to focus a lot more on form. And so I have details in here. And this is something that I try to do even in my generic plans, but this is where a lot of the benefit comes from working with a coach. They can tell you what strides are, they can tell you how to do them, and they can give you feedback on if you have any questions about what they are, how to, how many you're supposed to do, all of that stuff. So I try to include as much of that into these plans that I can, with some notes in here. But again, it is always better working with a coach. Saturday, rest, light activity, cross training, and Sunday is either rest or light activity. So this plan is specifically designed to have 3 to 4 days that you're working out during the week. Very simple, very easy. It's low cost. It gives you a weekly average here. Gives you the longest workouts. This is sort of a basic generic plan though to get you started if you need. If you have questions, leave them in the comment section below. I will try to respond to as many of them as I can. And we will talk to the next point, which is going to be training plans plus coaching. So we'll just open up the other one in here just to have it, have something different that's in here. Again, working with a coach is going to be beneficial because they can give you feedback. They can tell you, how to do specific workouts. Let me see if I have... they can tell you how to be doing strides, what to be focusing on. Say your foot is hurting or, you want to change your workout a little bit. Having a coach there to talk you through it and to keep you accountable is really beneficial. especially if you are trying to make an actual difference in your training load. So one of the things, again, I really want to emphasize is that the main benefit you get from working with a coach and getting a custom training plan is that it is fit for you. It's a little bit more expensive because you're paying for custom training plan and coaching cost. But you're also getting a lot more benefit out of it as well. You're getting tips on your form, technique, and then really on injury prevention, anything that's going to help propel you towards actually improving that a generic plan just all by itself isn't going to do. So with that, we're going to move on to the third, and the one that you're probably most interested in is AI coaching. So I went ahead and just did a couple little simple prompts in here to prep up so we don't have to load. Sometimes ChatGPT gets overloaded, so that's the one that we're going to go with today. So can you use it to create a plan for you? And the answer is yes, but it's going to kind of edge towards that generic plan where it can give you some good ideas, but overall, unless you are really, really good at prompting, it's not going to give you, exactly what you need, and you're not going to get that advice back as you would with a coach. So, I asked ChatGPT, create a basic running plan. Okay, let's see what it gives us here. Week 1, day 1. We are going to walk for 5 minutes to warm up, then run for 1 minute and walk for 1 minute. Repeat 5 times. So kind of similar to how I have that set up too. This is definitely aimed towards beginners where you are only running, in this case, you're only running for a minute and then walking for a minute. Okay, so you're going a minute on, minute off in this case. So a little bit different than how I had it set up. But again, encouraging people to walk if they need to. Okay, day 1 is going to be the same. But then you're aiming to run for a little bit longer, 30 seconds, and then up to 2 minutes, walk a minute, and then you get a rest day, and then you pretty much go back down a ladder. So this is sort of a pyramid. You go up a little bit, and then you come back down. Pretty simple, but it's not bad. It's really not. And then for week 2, this is going to do the same thing, except for you're just going to up that a little bit. So we did ask a basic running plan, and this is a basic running plan. It does give some advice here at the end. So gradually increase running time and decrease walking time each week. Make sure to listen to your body and take rest days as needed. The goal is to build up to running for 30 minutes continuously. Honestly, that's freaking cool. That's awesome that it gives you that advice at the end, and that is really good advice. If you're looking to improve quicker or to work on your form, though, this isn't really going to help out specifically. So I could have gone a different way. I asked, as an experienced runner, create 1 week repeatable run plan, 2 hard workouts, and 1 long run. We could have kept with the beginner one, but I was curious to see what it would give for, someone that was, quote, an experienced runner. And it builds something for a very experienced runner. Day 1, 5 to 10 minutes, easy running. I prefer to warm up closer to 10 to 12 minutes, but everyone is their own. And then 3 sets of 8 by 400 at 5K with 200 recovery between. That's a pretty good, pretty hard workout. Okay, and then day 2, 8 to 12 miles at steady endurance building pace. So this is definitely aimed towards long distance running. We didn't clarify, we just said experienced runner. So that's one thing. If you were using this tool, you would need to make sure you were already giving it some type of mileage that you were doing, so that it had some more to gauge off of. So day 4 gives you another workout here, and then gives you some rest days and gives you a long run. So pretty much what you asked for. It didn't really create a second week or to make this super repeatable, but that's all right. I mean, it did give you 1 week of pretty decent workouts. So I wanted to try this as well I messed up on that one because I wanted to include those for 70.3 distance. Created a 2-week training schedule for a mid-level triathlete. Dropping down to the mid-level now. Day 1 gives you 3 workouts. Personally, I guess if you are a mid-level experienced, this isn't too bad. Generally, I try to do 1 to 2 workouts a day, and 3 sort of on the weekends or on my longer runs or longer longer days. But for a starting out swim here, 500, then 4x100, and then another 500. It's not too bad. That's 2K. I would give that mid-par rating. And then bike for 60 minutes at endurance pace with 3 intervals at tempo pace. So, okay, not too bad. And then 30-minute run easy. So it doesn't tell you whether these should be back-to-back, how much time is between them, but it's not too bad for a first workout. Day 2 gives you a little bit longer ride with more tempo work and then a run tempo. So kind of building up load pretty quick. Day 3, basically the same, almost the same workout, except instead of 100s, it's 200s, and pretty basic. And then it looks like a little bit of an easier bike and run. But I mean, in the first 3 days, it gives you 3 workouts, 2 workouts, 3 workouts, and then a rest day. So depending on your schedule, this is a situation where you just kind of have to trial and error, because that's a lot of work to do in just the first 3 days. And then it creates, gives you some more. Gives you a little bit different workout, but still basic, 4x200s descending pace. And then and then another 5x100. So most of these workouts are pretty basic, more tempo work, intervals, a little bit different. So they'll be good workouts, but they're not going to be like great workouts, and these are going to be pretty similar, pretty repeatable. You're not going to get a lot of variation here. But overall, it really is not too bad. So again, you have to be specific. If you want to do something in here, you can do, we'll just create one new one here for triathlon, since that's my main. Create 1 week, we'll say 8-hour plan for mid-beginner triathlete for 70.3 distance. So now we are giving it a time frame, 8 hours for the week, saying that we are mid to beginner triathlon and 70.3 distance. And we'll just check really quick here what this creates. So again, my thoughts on this is that it can be a useful tool, but without it getting proper information or really good prompting, it's not going to be specific to you, again, which is where either having a coach or someone to create a custom plan is going to be really beneficial. So this does give a little bit different, still 4x50s. Let's see, 2x10 minute tempo. So almost everything on the bike here is tempo. So you're really not getting a lot of power or like high intensity stuff. So it knows how to give tempos, or you can tell that. However, it is not super great at, giving different variations of workouts. So most of this is going to get pretty boring pretty quick. This plan assumes 8 hours of training time per week, spread across 7 days, adjust intensity, distance, and types of workouts based on current fitness, take additional rest days. So good advice. Again, overall, not bad. It can be a useful tool, but if you're really looking to improve and you want to get feedback, working with a coach is going to be the best way to go. Okay, so to wrap this all together, starting with the generic plans. The pros, they're cheap, widely available, and again, pretty easy to get to, so you don't have to hire a coach, you don't have to look for a coach, anything like that. Downside, there's limited flexibility, you don't get support or feedback, and again, they're very generic, and so they might not be fit for you. Next one is going to be working with a personal coach and either a generic or custom training plan, just depending on what you work out with your coach. Now, the primary benefit here is getting support and feedback. So if you have questions, injuries, comments, training tips, any of that stuff that you need, it's going to be a lot easier because you can just ask your coach and get that one-on-one feedback. Some of the cons is that sometimes it can be difficult to find a good coach or one that you really like working with. It can be a little bit more expensive, and then sometimes there's scheduling and flexibility that is difficult to work out. But again, working with a coach and finding one that is going to meet your needs is going to be so helpful in you progressing throughout your fitness career. The last one is going to be AI generated training plans. And these kind of fall back with the generic plans in that you can create them to be, you can sort of create a custom plan for you, but without giving it a lot of data and a lot of information. It's just going to be kind of like this trial and error trying to figure out what that plan is going to be. And you're going to have to continue to do that if you want to keep using it. Now, as we saw, they can give some good workouts, but they can also be repeatable. Now, we only looked at ChatGPT because that's what's one of the biggest, most common AI generated user platforms right now. And it's, all across the news, everyone's using it. So it can be useful, but again, using that and then still working, at least working with a coach to get feedback on the plans that you created or that you used AI to help create. All right, I got one more for you. And that's going to be TriDot. So there might be other platforms out there that I'm not aware of, but TriDot is something that I've been sort of playing with the last few weeks and have actually really enjoyed. It is an AI platform that creates custom plans for you that is based on all of your metrics. It pulls in information from either Garmin, Strava, Training Peaks, whatever else that you're using, and uses that to create a plan for you. It's been pretty good. There's a couple little quirks here and there as far as getting workouts downloaded, but overall it's been really good. And if you miss a day, then it actually corrects itself to change your schedule for the week. It's actually really useful because if you miss your day, well, your plan's gonna automatically regenerate to try to optimize your training for the following days. I've only used it for a few weeks now, so I have not fully gotten used to it yet and tested out to see how fully optimized it is. But they claim to be using heart rate data, as well as your mileage, your pace, and all those other metrics to create this plan. So if you're interested in checking it out, I do have a link below that you can check out, sign it up, and I think that there's a 2-week trial with it. So if you're interested, check it out. I also have a link below for my coaching platform. So if you want help getting set up, or you have any questions, or if you're interested in doing a custom plan, one-on-one coaching, any of that stuff, that link is going to be down there too. And I would be more than happy to talk with you about training goals, or if you just have any questions.
If you found this information helpful, go ahead and leave a comment down below on what training you personally use. And as well, I'd love to hear your thoughts about AI training and coaching. Additionally, if you have questions, comments, concerns, you can leave those below too, and I'll try to get to as many as I can. You can also set up a personal one-on-one with me, which is going to be in the description below. It's free, easy, and I'd love to chat with you. I hope you learned something new, and best of luck with your training.